You're with Jane Hawtin Live. Our 900 phone poll question today is, should pedophiles be locked up for life? If your answer is yes, call 1-900-870-0159. If your answer is no, call 1-900-870-0160. Our guests are lawyers Karen McArthur and Tim Danson. We're going right back to the phone lines to talk to Angela, who's calling from Prince George, BC. And Angela, you're 14, is that right?
Yeah.
And why are you calling?
I think that pedophiles should be locked up for life. I was a victim of a pedophile, and he was on parole for abusing his daughter. And it went on for 6 months without the parole officer even knowing. And he's back in jail now, but, I mean, I don't think the system's working properly, and they're getting out and doing it again. And so I just think that, you know, they should either be just locked up or they should be killed. And that's about how I feel.
Okay, Angela, thank you for calling. Okay. Let's talk to Karen, who's calling from Ontario. Hi, Karen.
Hi.
Hi.
I think that there should be the death penalty, and they should just go or be locked up. We don't have the death penalty, so that's the way it is. But, I mean, the fact that the parole board felt that the gentleman we were speaking about first, that they felt it was better for him to let him out, it's irrelevant if it's better for him or not.
Right.
I mean, that's ridiculous. These people should have psychological tests.
What is with this issue? I mean, why is Corrections Canada it seems to us, overly concerned with the prisoner and what's going to be good for them?
They have to come to a decision at the end of the day as to whether or not he's safe to release into the community, and they obviously have. And I don't think they're overly concerned with Oatway's rights or any other prisoner's rights.
Oatway got to choose where he was going to go. Well, they're trying not to have to answer to the community by sliding him in the dark of night.
We don't know that it actually happened in this case in terms of sliding him into Toronto.
Well, they certainly didn't contact the Citizens Committee, which they set up to guarantee the community that people living in the area would know who was coming and what kind of person they was. They didn't contact him.
What we can say for certain, that unless we have a dangerous sexual predator law in Canada, this problem will occur over and over and over again. Because the position that the Corrections Canada people are placed in, because there is no sexual predator law, when you reach warrant expiry, the end of your sentence, they have to open up the door and out he goes. And if they've gone through no reintegration into the community, he's just going to you're just setting him up to reoffend. So what the problem for Corrections Canada is, we know we're going to have to let him out, down the road, and so maybe we can try to mitigate the damage. But that's the problem. The thing is, you can't mitigate the damage for many of these people, and you've got to have a sexual predator law there to make sure that the dangerous ones don't get out. So it's a self-fulfilled prophecy. They're going to keep letting them out. There's going to continually be victims, and the solution is very straightforward. And it's been on the table for a few years since the jury recommendation in Stevenson. The government seems to, every time we meet with them, say it's a good idea and we think we should be doing it, and it hasn't been done. So I hope your viewers, maybe they should be phoning the Solicitor General and
make a list of all the reasons to call them.
The Justice Minister saying, why are you still sitting on your backside? Why don't we have a sexual predator law?
Tim hasn't told the viewing audience, Jane, that there's also a new 810.1, which is effectively a peace bond that can be applied to persons who are deemed to be at risk to the public upon completion of their sentence. He keeps telling your viewing audience that there's nothing out there, and he keeps pushing the sexual predator law. There are some things out there above and beyond simply Corrections Canada judgment at the end of the day. 810.1 puts them on terms. They come before the court. They have a hearing. If they refuse to hold the hearing or agree to the terms, then they go to jail.
But then we're trusting.
So
does that mean we have to trust the parole system, though?
No, that's imposed by a judge. It's a hearing where the person is entitled to counsel, and there's a Crown attorney present who can put forward the public's views. You can hear from psychiatrists. You can hear from psychologists. It was what was done in the situation of Wayne Boudreau. It's been upheld as constitutional by Mr. Justice then the last 3 months, I believe. So things are out there. It's not simply a question of it's a vacuum out there, and the public needs to be afraid.
Well, there's certainly a vacuum. If you think that 810, a peace bond, is a solution for someone like a Joseph Fredericks or a Clifford Olson, that you think that a psychopathic sexual sadist is going to look at that peace bond and we're going to be protected, I just think that's naive. I think that 810...
1/2%, and advances have been made on your side of the ledger. You shouldn't continue to say that there's nothing out there.
Well, you're not listening to what my argument is, because I've already made it very clear that there's a continuum of dangerousness for pedophiles. 810 is a very good solution for the lower level pedophile where they may be subject and amenable to those kinds of controls. I'm simply saying the Joseph Fedricks and the Clifford Olsons of the world are not amenable to that, and unless you have a law that picks them up at the end of their sentence so that they don't get out, you're going to have more victims. So it's
Well,
just
maybe
simply
because
making...
we don't have good enough training for the people that are making the decisions about whether these guys get out or not. They seem to be able to con them, and within 6 months of them being eligible for parole, they put on the Nice Guy Act, and they're convinced that rehabilitation has happened. But let's talk to Wayne, who's calling from Surrey, BC. Hi, Wayne.
Yeah, I have a very simple solution. Enough with the lawyers, the psychologists, the judges. Take them from a mountain, which is next door to Kent, put them in the general population, end of story, all the problems are solved.
But that's jungle justice. You want some kind of a system of justice for this country, don't you?
It's enough with coddling the criminals and especially the ones that go after the children and the women.
Okay, Wayne, thanks for calling. Let's talk to Margaret in Toronto. Hi, Margaret.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm a survivor.
Yeah.
And in the 60s, I went to the police, and the police did not help me. I've been on my own since I was 10 and a half. I tried to kill myself. And I'm 44 right now. I tried to, a year and a half ago, I went to the police to get these people off the streets. I found out that he molested his daughter and his 5-year-old granddaughter. Mm-hmm. It's insane. These people there's no treatment for these people. Nothing. Right now I've got a lawyer and a therapist that's trying to help me. And I don't know what to do. And I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to stop until someone listens to me and takes these people, and I don't know what they can do with them.
Okay, thank you
Put them
very
in
much for
jail.
calling.
Okay.
What worries you, Karen, though, about the pickets that you saw outside about the Kiel Centre?
Just the retribution, the jungle justice. It's people not being accepting of people having served their time for their crime and trying to reintegrate into the community. I think it's people acting irrationally and without full knowledge of the facts.
Mm-hmm.
And who's responsible for that? I mean, I don't like to see that kind of demonstration because I don't find it particularly constructive. But it is the inevitable result of a government that neglects its responsibility to bring in the appropriate laws to protect the community. And as long as the community feels that they're not being properly protected, and they have a right to feel that way because they're not being properly protected, this is how it's going to be interpreted. So there's a point where we need leadership, and that's what governments are for, and they should be bringing in sexual predator legislation.
But I think we'll also have those kind of outcries when people aren't properly educated. Not only, as Tim says, not properly protected, but not properly educated. The pedophilia problem is not as that large.
All right. Thank you both for coming in. Thank you. Lawyers Karen McArthur and Tim Danson, you're with Jane Hawtin Live. Up next, Jim Stevenson.